Good afternoon, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Saturday, October 25th, 2014, around 4:30 in the afternoon in Billerica, Massachusetts. A very nice and sunny day out, and it seems like forever that it's a nice and sunny day. And it's beautiful. It's highs in the mid-60s. It's a perfect fall day. And next week's supposed to be a gorgeous week with a lot of sunshine and Indian summer. Enjoy it, because I heard next Saturday we could get some snowflakes. Some news to report. Sad news to report in the world of news. Former Fox News and CNN anchor Terry Keenan passed away at the age of 53. The cause of death was due to a brain hemorrhage. Sad prayers to her family. And also sad news to report in the world of the music industry. Rock and roll singer and basset player Jack Bruce passed away at the age of 71. And also, one more thing, a little sports tidbit. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have re-signed defensive tackle Gerard McCoy to a 7-year contract extension worth $98 million. Wow. And also today, I had lunch at Chili's in Lowell, right off the Lowell Connector, next to the Outback Steakhouse and a Showcase Cinema. I used my $25 gift card that I got for my birthday. I had 3 nice shrimp tacos, and I also had chocolate chip cookie with an ice cream top on it. And also I played some sports trivia, and it was good. I knew a lot of sports trivia, so I got all the answers right. And that's about it on that. My next subject is about what happened 28 years ago at the World Series. It was Game 6 of the 1986 World Series. The Boston Red Sox against the New York Mets at Shea Stadium in Queens, New York. The Red Sox were up 3-2, and they were looking to close out the series, and it would have been the Red Sox first World Series championship in 68 years. And the game would go down in the records as one of the most infamous games in Red Sox history. And this was something that was part of the curse of the Bambino. It's a long story, which I'll tell another blog another day. The game was broadcast on NBC. Calling the game was Vin Scully and Joe Gaggiola. Bob Costas was hosting the pregame show, and he was conducting interviews. The game was also on CBS Radio Sports. Calling the action was Jack Buck and Sparky Anderson. The Red Sox jumped to a quick 2-0 lead in the first 2 innings with RBI singles from Dwight Evans and Marty Barrett. The New York Mets tied the score up in the 5th inning by RBIs from Danny Heap and Ray Knight. The Red Sox scored in the 7th inning to go up 3-2 for when Ray Knight committed an error and Marty Barrett scored. And Roger Clemens was pitching that game, and he was pitching a pretty good game, but he was lifted in the 8th inning because he had a blister on his pitching finger. He was lifted for a pinch hitter, and that pinch hitter was Mike Greenwell, and warming up in the bullpen was Red Sox setup man at the time, Calvin Schiraldi. Calvin Schiraldi was like kind of wild, inconsistent, and stuff like that. And very, very surprised that the Red Sox manager at the time, John McNamara, would go for the setup man, Calvin Schiraldi. He should have went to his closer, Bob Stanley. And in the 8th inning, Calvin Schiraldi blows to save because of a sacrifice fly ball by Gary Carter. And it ties the score 3-3. And there was no scoring in the 9th inning. And in the 10th inning, Red Sox outfielder Dave Henderson hit a home run that made the score 4-3. And the Red Sox got an insurance run by a sacrifice fly by Jim Rice. And this was hit off of Rick Aguilera. And then in the bottom of the 10th, the Red Sox were 3 outs away from winning their first World Series in 68 years. And John McNamara allowed Calvin Schiraldi to go out there to pitch his 3rd inning. And he should have took him out and put the closer in, Bob Stanley, for the 10th inning. And Calvin Schiraldi got the first 2 outs. He got Wally men out, and he also got Keith Hernandez out. And the Red Sox were 1 out away to win the first World Series in 68 years. And the scoreboard of Shea Stadium inadvertently said, "Congratulations to the 1986 World Series champions, Boston Red Sox." The moment they said it, it was jinxed. Because Gary Carter got a hit. He got a hit, and the Mets were still alive. Then, pinch hitter Kevin Mitchell, he was getting ready to call flights for plane to go back to San Diego because he thought the Mets were going to lose. He was like getting undressed. They had to call him up to like pinch hit because the pitcher, Roger McDowell, couldn't hit. And he gets a single as well. And also, then comes up Ray Knight. He gets a hit. And Gary Carter scores, so it's 5-4. John McNamara says this. He's seen enough of Calvin Schiraldi. He pulls him from the game, and he brings in the Red Sox closer, Bob Stanley. And Stanley faces Mookie Wilson. And the tie-in run was 90 feet away in Kevin Mitchell, and Ray Knight was at first base. And it was one of those amazing pitches like this thing. It goes, Bob Stanley faces Mookie Wilson several times. The count goes to 2-2 for several at-bats. And the Red Sox were 1 strike away from their first World Series in 68 years. But then the 8th pitch that Bob Stanley throws, it's a wild pitch. Kevin Mitchell scores from third base, and it's a tie game, 5-5. And there was a couple more at-bats, was foul ball, and to the 11th pitch at bat between Bob Stanley and Mookie Wilson. And Mookie Wilson hits a ground ball. And Bill Buckner, who's the Red Sox first baseman, usually he was taken out of the game during the season at the late innings for defensive replacement because Bill Buckner had 2 very sore ankles, and they would put Dave Stapleton in during the games in the regular season for defensive purposes. But the ball goes through Buckner's legs, and then Ray Knight, who was at second base, comes into home, and the New York Mets beat the Boston Red Sox by the score of 6-5. And this was like the curse of the Bambino striking the Red Sox again. Unbelievable. And this is Vin Scully's one of his most famous quotes. Little roller around first, behind the back of Buckner. It gets through Buckner's legs. Here comes Knight, and then for the winning run, and the Mets win. Unbelievable. And Bob Costas was in the Red Sox locker room at the bottom of the 10th inning when the score was 5-3. He was getting ready for the post-game celebration. They brought the World Series trophy in to the Red Sox clubhouse. They announced that Bruce Hurst was going to be the most valuable player of the World Series, pitcher Bruce Hurst. And then once the Mets tied it up, they had to bring the World Series trophy out of the Red Sox clubhouse. They had to remove the champagne and the T-shirts and stuff like that. And Bob Costas had to run onto the field and interview and conduct the post-game interview. And it's amazing. This was very sickening to see the Red Sox come so close to the World Series and blow it. It made me sick to my stomach. I remember I was vomiting that night. Well, really, I wasn't feeling that great that night when I was a 10-year-old kid. But when I saw that, it's a sickening feeling because I waited all these years for the Red Sox to finally win a World Series. And like generations before me, I said to myself, I might never see the Red Sox win the World Series. Very disappointing stuff. It's a curse of the Bambino. John McNamara should have put like Dave Stapleton in the 10th inning, and he should have removed Calvin Schiraldi at the 10th inning. Had Bob Stanley get the final 3 outs. They would have been World Series champions in 1986. And also, this game went so long, it was the first time ever that a broadcast of Saturday Night Live was canceled for the first time in their 11-year history. That got a lot of people mad, but this was a very important baseball game and stuff like that. And then 2 nights later, the Red Sox lose to the New York Mets, and the New York Mets win the 1986 World Series. Very, very sad day for Red Sox fans and stuff like that. It would be another 18 years before the Red Sox would make it to the World Series and win the World Series. And this isn't like one of those things that with the curse of the bambino for Red Sox fans, they bring you so up and they break your heart all the time for 86 years for Red Sox fans. I'll tell you about the reverse the curse on Monday, how I felt when the Red Sox finally won the World Series. Well, Facebook friends and YouTube followers, I'll be seeing you tonight. And the last subject will be the Rockers, Tag Team Specialist. One of the greatest tag teams of all time, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. I'll tell you their history as a tag team, okay? And don't forget, send me questions, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. I want them, I'll answer them. And don't forget, coming soon, the Prime 9 of the people I'm going to talk about. Julie Broughton, Local News 6, Heidi Lee Pratt, Janelle Tobin, Crystal Pistol, Dee Patel, Donald Beauregard, Tony Ramos, Bruce Cronin, who's a diehard Yankee fan. Want to put a wager on that, Richie? And Angelo, who wins millions of dollars of scratch tickets, who scratches millions of dollars of scratch tickets at Market Basket, and it won 0. See you later, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye now.